Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Sukkot. Sukkot is a biblical Jewish holiday celebrated on the 15th day of the 7th month, Tishrei, during the existence of the Jerusalem Temple. It was one of the 3 pilgrimage festivals on which the Israelites were commanded to perform a pilgrimage to the temple. Sukkot has a double significance. The one mentioned in the Book of Exodus is agricultural in nature, Feast of Ingathering, at the year's end, and marks the end of the harvest time, and thus of the agricultural year in the land of Israel. The more elaborate religious significance, from the Book of Leviticus, is that of commemorating the Exodus, and the dependence of the people of Israel on the will of God. The holiday lasts 7 days in Israel and 8 in the diaspora. The first day is a Shabbat-like holiday when work is forbidden. This is followed by intermediate days called Chol Hamoed, when certain work is permitted. The festival is closed with another Shabbat-like holiday called Shemini Atzeret. Shemini Atzeret coincides with the 8th day of Sukkot outside of Israel. The Hebrew word is the plural of sukkah, booth, or tabernacle, which is a walled structure covered with succot. A sukkah is the name of the temporary dwelling in which farmers would live during harvesting, a fact connecting to the agricultural significance of the holiday stressed by the Book of Exodus. As stated in Leviticus, it is also intended as a reminiscence of the type of fragile dwellings in which the Israelites dwelt during their 40 years of travel in the desert after the exodus from slavery in Egypt. Throughout the holiday, meals are eaten inside the sukkah and many people sleep there as well. On each day of the holiday it is mandatory to perform a waving ceremony with the 4 species. Origins. In the Book of Leviticus, God told Moses to command the people, "On the first day you shall take the product of hadar trees, branches of palm trees, boughs of leafy trees and willows of the brook, and you shall live in booths 7 days. All citizens in Israel shall live in booths, in order that future generations may know that I made the Israelite people live in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt." The origins of Sukkot are both historical and agricultural. Historically, Sukkot commemorates the 40-year period during which the children of Israel were wandering in the desert, living in temporary shelters. Agriculturally, Sukkot is a harvest festival and is sometimes referred to as it celebrates the gathering of the harvest. Laws and customs. Sukkot is an 8-day holiday, with the first day celebrated as a full festival, with special prayer services and holiday meals. The 7th day of Sukkot is called, and has a special observance of its own, outside Israel. The first and last 2 days are celebrated as full festivals. The intermediate days are known as Chol Hamoed. According to Halakha, some types of work are forbidden during Chol Hamoed. In Israel, many businesses are closed during this time. Throughout the week of Sukkot, meals are eaten in the sukkah. If a Brit Milah or Bar Mitzvah rises during Sukkot, the Seudat Mitzvah is served in the sukkah. Similarly, the father of a newborn boy greets guests to his Friday night Shalom Zakah in the sukkah. Males awaken there, although the requirement is waived in case of draft. Every day, a blessing is recited over the lulav and the etrog. Observance of Sukkot is detailed in the Book of Nehemiah chapter 8 verse 13-18, and Leviticus chapter 23 verse 34-44 in the Bible, the Mishnah, the Tosefta, and the Jerusalem Talmud, and Babylonian Talmud. Building a sukkah. The sukkah walls can be constructed of any material. The walls can be freestanding, or include the sides of a building, a porch. The roof must be of organic material known as succot, such as leafy tree overgrowth, shack mats, or palm fronds. It is customary to decorate the interior of the sukkah with hanging decorations of the 4 species as well as with attractive artwork. Special prayers. Prayers during Sukkot include the reading of the Torah every day, reciting the Musaf service after morning prayers, reciting Hallel, and adding special additions to the Amidah and Grace after meals. In addition, the service includes rituals involving the 4 species. The lulav and etrog are not brought to the synagogue on Shabbat. Hoshana. On each day of the festival, worshippers walk around the synagogue carrying their 4 species while reciting special prayers, known as Hoshana. This takes place either after the morning's Torah reading or at the end of Musaf. This ceremony commemorates the willow ceremony at the temple in Jerusalem, in which willow branches were piled beside the altar, with worshippers parading around the altar reciting prayers. Ushpizin. A custom originating with Lurianic Kabbalah is to recite the Ushpizin prayer to invite one of 7 exalted guests into the sukkah. These Ushpizin represent the 7 shepherds of Israel: Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Aaron, Joseph, and David. According to tradition, each night a different guest enters the sukkah followed by the other 6. Each of the Ushpizin has a unique lesson which teaches the parallels of the spiritual focus of the day on which they visit. Chol Hamoed. The 2nd through 7th days of Sukkot are called Chol Hamoed. These days are considered by Halakha to be more than regular weekdays but less than festival days. In practice, this means that all activities that are needed for the holiday, such as buying and preparing food, cleaning the house in honor of the holiday, or traveling to visit other people's Sukkot, or on family outings, are permitted by Jewish law. Activities that will interfere with relaxation and enjoyment of the holiday, such as laundering, mending clothes, engaging in labor-intensive activities, are not permitted. Religious Jews often treat Chol Hamoed as a vacation period, eating nicer than usual meals in their sukkah, entertaining guests, visiting other families in their sukkot, and taking family outings. Many synagogues and Jewish centers also offer events and meals in their sukkot during this time to foster community and goodwill. On the Shabbat, which falls during the week of Sukkot, the Book of Ecclesiastes is read during morning synagogue services in Israel. This book's emphasis on the ephemeralness of life echoes the theme of the sukkah, while its emphasis on death reflects the time of year in which Sukkot occurs. The penultimate verse reinforces the message that adherence to God and His Torah is the only worthwhile pursuit. Hakil. In the days of the Temple in Jerusalem, all Israelite and later Jewish men, women, and children on pilgrimage to Jerusalem for the festival would gather in the temple courtyard on the first day of Chol Hamoed Sukkot to hear the Jewish king read selections from the Torah. This ceremony, which was mandated in Deuteronomy chapter 31 verse 10-13, was held every 7 years. In the year following the Shemitah year, this ceremony was discontinued after the destruction of the temple, but it has been revived in Israel since 1952 on a smaller scale. Simchat Beit HaShoevah. During the intermediate days of Sukkot, gatherings of music and dance, known as Simchat Beit HaShoevah, take place. This commemorates the drawing of the water for the water libation on the altar, an offering unique to Sukkot. When water was carried up the Jerusalem pilgrim road from the pool of Siloam to the temple in Jerusalem. Hoshana Rabbah. The 7th day of Sukkot is known as Hoshana Rabbah. This day is marked by a special synagogue service in which 7 circuits are made, by worshippers holding their 4 species, reciting additional prayers. In addition, a bundle of 5 willow branches is beaten on the ground. Shemini Atzeret and Simchat Torah. The holiday immediately following Sukkot is known as Shemini Atzeret. Shemini Atzeret is usually viewed as a separate holiday. In the diaspora, a second additional holiday, Simchat Torah, is celebrated. In the land of Israel, Simchat Torah is celebrated on Shemini Atzeret. On Shemini Atzeret, people leave their sukkah and eat their meals inside the house. Outside of Israel, many eat in the sukkah without making the blessing. The sukkah is not used on Simchat Torah. Jeroboam's feast. According to King Jeroboam, first king of the rebellious northern kingdom, instituted a feast on the 15th day of the 8th month, in imitation of the feast of Sukkot in Judah, and pilgrims went to Bethel instead of Jerusalem to make thanksgiving offerings. Jeroboam feared that continued pilgrimages from the northern kingdom to Jerusalem could lead to pressure for reunion with Judah. If these people go up to offer sacrifices in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, then the heart of this people will turn back to the Lord Rehoboam king of Judah, and they will kill me and go back to Rehoboam king of Judah. In Christianity, Sukkot is celebrated by a number of Christian denominations that observe holidays from the Old Testament. These groups base this on the fact that Jesus celebrated Sukkot. The holiday is celebrated according to its Hebrew calendar dates. The first mention of observing the holiday by Christian groups dates to the 17th century, among the sect of the Shabbat-like in Russia. In the Orthodox Church, the holiday is said to correspond to the New Covenant Feast of the Transfiguration. Academic views. Damore has suggested that there are links between Sukkot and the Ugaritic New Year festival. In particular, the Ugaritic custom of erecting 2 rows of huts built of branches on the temple roof as temporary dwelling houses for their gods. Some have pointed out that the original Thanksgiving holiday had many similarities with Sukkot in the Bible. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Would you like to know more?